Hello and welcome to On Location with Paradigm. I'm your host, Chris Tello, and I have my guest, Nav. Why don't you tell everyone your full name and what it is you do?
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me, Chris. My name is Navjot Singh. I go by Nav. I'm the owner of Signature Real Estate Group and team leader at Singh Real Estate Group. And, we do a little bit of everything, but, really excited to be here today and get to know you a little bit more.
All right. Well, I'm happy to have you on the show. You're a great guest. I know our previous guest was Trisha Gonzalez, and she's on your team
Yes.
at Sing Real Estate. So that's super awesome. So tell me a little bit about, I guess, your company as a whole, and you have a team and everything.
Yeah. So, it started off as Sing Real Estate Group. We were at different brokerages. I started off my individual career at Keller Williams. Then from there, I went to JPAR. From there, that's where I started my team, Sing Real Estate Group. And, all my agents, I saw them growing and progressing in their career. And I saw like the need. And, I was like, okay, hey, it's time for you guys to go on your own, spread your wings and fly, and they really didn't want to leave. So they kind of forced me to open a brokerage, and I hired a broker of record. And, here we are today where we just officially hired our 60th agent. So, we're growing at a good rate, but, the goal is, first I'm a real estate agent, and then, then I'm a brokerage owner and I'm a team leader. So, there's a lot of different hats I wear, but, my goal is to do it the best that I can. Well, one unique thing about us is a lot of brokerages, they're consistently hiring, saying, "Hey, come join us, come join us." A lot of recruiters and all this other stuff. Our growth has been so organic. We haven't put out like any hiring ads. So everyone that's here, it's like a small family. We're very connected. Everyone knows each other, and it's everyone is here because they have some sort of relationship with me or one of my agents.
Oh, that's awesome. So you go with that. I was going to ask you questions. How are these agents joining the team? How are they finding you? And say relationship with your current agents that you have. Do you think maybe they see you guys on social media because you guys are all over social media, right?
Yeah, social media has been one of the biggest things for us, and I mean, of course, that's why you work with my team directly. Social media is the key to real estate. I mean, I've made lifelong friends that first they were clients. They found me on social media. Now they're lifelong friends, all through social media. So the power of social media is insane. A lot of agents are too scared to get on camera. They're always like, "Oh, well, when I lose a little bit of weight, or when I don't like the way my voice sounds there. It's all in their head. So I always encourage my agents, like, just go out there, put yourself out there. People love to see you on camera. Everyone thinks that, oh, I don't want to be on camera because I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. I think that's absolutely not true.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's crazy. It's funny you say that because a lot of people want to look perfect on camera, and I go back to our previous guest, Trisha, where she said, and that's not going to be perfect. And not everyone wants to be perfect. You might think of it in our head, how would they care about how you look, but they really don't care. They're there to get your information. And, for, whether it's a home that you're listing, they're there to know about who you are as a brand, your personality. That's what they really care about. They care about authenticity.
Yeah.
And I think that I really liked about that is that you bring that same energy into the brokerage where you are in your team, and you tell them, "Hey, getting on social media because that's crucial."
Yeah.
And I'm there, like I film you guys, and we go to different homes, and you yourself, you go on camera,
Yep.
and you also do home tours, informational stuff. So now, do you think people really should just not care about what people think?
100% because we're our own critics. Like we're our own biggest critic. I'm gonna watch this over and over again and just be like, oh, I don't like what I said. I didn't like the way I said that. I didn't like the way I didn't like the shirt that I wore. I should have wore something different. But other people, they're just there. They take in the information and they move on with their day. Attention spans have gotten so much shorter. Blame TikTok or whatever you want. But yeah, you just show up on camera, and the thing is, you're not there to impress the whole world, get the most followers. I always tell my agents, stop worrying about view count, stop worrying about how many followers you have. Like all that stuff is nice. Like, don't get me wrong. It's great to see, oh, I'm getting this many views, I'm getting this many followers, I'm getting this many likes. But at the end of the day, followers do not uh, uh, equal sales. Followers do not equal likes, do not equal sales. So at the end of the day, your job is to connect with as many people. And I think a lot of people, as they shift in their career, they'll have like a mindset change. Because I see agents that aren't even on social media and have zero followers, closing a whole bunch of deals because that's just they're in a different network. Now, it's just people get too much caught up in the rat race, in my opinion.
Right, and, and you mentioned that about, like, certain agents that aren't on social media. Imagine if they were on social media.
Oh, 100%, 100%, and the thing is I think there's every agent has their niche, like, because some of them started way back in the day and they got in the right circles, but if you're a brand new agent, you better get on social media.
Yes, it's crazy because even myself, like I'm not a real estate agent or I'm not buying a house, but because I am in the real estate industry, whenever I'm on Instagram or TikTok, I will see realtors that I've never even known before and I'll see them pop up, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
And I see your team all the time on there. You have your family. So let's go back to that. I guess so you have brothers as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, I have brothers, I have cousins in the business, so, they're doing really well, we have, one agent on our or at our brokerage, he's 21 years old, he closed a $4 million multifamily deal, he found the buyer on Facebook, so, I mean, there's everything is it's not necessarily Instagram or TikTok, but still comes from social media.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
social media is big and it's crazy. So that's awesome that, not only you, your team, but you have your family members on the social media doing the right things and getting deals sold and making deals happen.
100%, 100%.
So I guess we'll go back in time. I guess we'll go back here. Tell me where exactly are you from? Where are you originated?
So my family is from Punjab, India. So my wife and son are actually there right now. I'm headed back. I go November 16th, and I'll be there for about 2 weeks. So I'm super excited. I haven't been back since 2018. My mom, my dad, and aunt, they're all there right now. We live here. My parents moved here in 1989. So like it's been a great. I'm born and raised Arlington is like me. I went to high school here. I went to elementary school here. Went to college here. So, actually, it's funny enough. Today is the Chamber of Commerce in Arlington. They have our 40 under 40. So I got nominated, and today's the gala. So super excited. It really being 33 years old now, getting recognized by the city of Arlington for being 40 under 40 is pretty amazing. So yeah, I mean, it all just ties back into it. I love the city of Arlington. This will always be home. A lot of people think I live in Frisco because I do a lot of business there, but Arlington is home. And people always ask me like, Nav, where will you live? I do really like Colleyville and Southlake. But the thing is Arlington is just so central. I can get to Plano in 40 minutes. I can get to Frisco in 40 minutes. I still sell a lot in Mansfield, Fort Worth, Arlington. So that's why I picked this location in Arlington. We're sitting in our office right now. So I bought this building in 2023, just as a commitment to myself, to the city of Arlington, to my brokerage that, hey, we're in real estate. We're not renting an office. We bought a building. We're here. And like, this is what we do.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I was gonna mention is, we're here, we're at your office right now, we're in Arlington,
Yeah.
and like you mentioned, you bought this place, so you're now renting it. So I think that also gives I think to me, that gives a little bit more trust to maybe clients, see or just anyone. Maybe someone joining the team because you're not here temporarily. You got the place, like we're here to work, we got the building, we're ready to go.
Yeah. 100%.
Mhm.
100%. I mean, like being a real estate professional, like, if I think all real estate agents should get to the point where they own rentals, where they own commercial real estate, because at the end of the day, like, as agents, how can we tell someone about, hey, this is how you are gonna invest in real estate? Because like one of the biggest ways that I actually build relationships and like build clients is I help them turn their primary into a rental, then help them go get their actual other home. So kind of like, help them invest and everything like that. So, I've been investing in real estate. My family's been investing in real estate since 2012. I started investing in real estate in 2017. And I mean, it's the best decision that I've ever made. And, we started off with just single family residential homes as investments, but, we've since gone into some commercial investments. We're actually building some duplexes in Arlington. So, it's all full circle. Like this is this is what we do, real estate day in, day out. Some sort of real estate is getting done.
That's awesome. So I guess I want to go back to that because you said you got into real estate in 2012, right? So what got you into real estate? What made you say? Because I know you said your family was in real estate, but what really got you into real estate, like, "You know what? I wanna get into this industry. This is something I wanna do, and this is something I wanna grow."
Yeah. So funny enough, I actually did not get licensed until September 2016. So I didn't even do my first transaction till December 2016. But I was already doing investments with my dad and uncle. I was helping them. I was in college. They were buying properties from the Tarrant County courthouse steps. So we were buying foreclosures and I was just helping them on the outside. They had an agent who was doing probably like 3 to 4 transactions a year, and 2 of them were coming from my dad and uncle. So that it's, like we realized that, he was definitely a part-timer, and no disrespect to any part-time agents, but he just wasn't like, on it, deals were getting dropped, balls were getting dropped all the time. So we were like, all right, like that's when I had just graduated college and I was like, my family was like pushing me. They're like, you should get your real estate license. We really need you into it. And I was just like, no, I like what I do. Like, my family has a used car dealership. That's what I always thought that I was going to do. And I was in the dealership business. So I thought that's what I was going to do after college. I was like, I have my route, I know what I'm going to do. I don't want to do real estate, but I mean, now looking back, I was like, man, that's, I really give it to my parents, my dad, my mom, my uncle. They all forced me into real estate. They're like, you should be a licensed agent. And here we are almost not even 10 years later, but like almost 8, 9 years later. And it's the best decision. We've been on such a journey. It's been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting to me to think is, for some reason, I thought maybe you were in the real estate business for a longer period of time. So it's really crazy to see, and it's a big accomplishment for you to not even a little over 10 years, not even 10 years yet,
Yeah.
in getting this so far where you are. You have a team, you have an office, you're establishing yourself in the DFW market, which is great. Um, I want to talk about, you said, being part-time or full-time. Do you think as a real estate agent or just anyone in the real estate industry, they should really go at that job being a real estate agent or real estate professional full-time instead of doing it part-time to really make sure that they can get the job done, not only for themselves, but for their clients?
Yeah, I mean, I know so many part-time agents, so this is not to be disrespectful at all to them, but you can't be a top producer if you're a part-time agent. It's just not possible. And what is a top producer? I mean, if I think like, the average agent, they don't do but 4 or 5 transactions a year. So technically, if you're doing 4 to 5 transactions a month, you're probably considered a top producer. Now there are levels to it. Like I know an agent, she's one of my good friends, Susan Matthews. This year she sold like $25 million in one day. So there's levels out there. And that's one of the agents that, she's a great friend I look up to. Brad Crouch, great friend, someone else who I look up to that does a lot of volume. There's different levels in real estate, you know what I mean? So it just depends where you want to be. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, I don't see it as a competition anymore. So many, every single brokerage is there, like everyone is posting, I'm a top producer at this brokerage. I'm a top producer at this brokerage. I mean, at the end of the day, like, does it really matter? Like, we're here to help our clients and everything like that. So I think, it really just depends on what you want to do. If you want to do your clients a full justice and full service, I think you should be a full-time agent. So then, it opens up those whole other can of worms.
Yeah, exactly. And just like you said there, there's different levels to it, different levels of real estate. But in reality, to get to any of those levels, you need to be full time.
100%.
Part time, it just doesn't really cut it. I mean, even for me, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a realtor. I'm not in anywhere in that case, but I'm in the real estate industry. And doing the job I have, it also takes full time. So I think it's great that, you're telling people that say, hey, you should be full time or you need to be full time. Yeah, because it just doesn't happen with two jobs or worrying about other things because you can't focus on things you want to accomplish, which is yourself, your client, just anyone in general.
100%. You wouldn't go to a part-time doctor.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't worry about. Oh, hold on, I'm leaving the dry cleaners in my job here. I put on my lab coat or whatever,
Yeah.
and could help you out with your ear infection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, won't do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you said you work with you would work all around DFW. I got a question for you. This is probably gonna be people are gonna be like, no way, this is wrong. But what is the best part of DFW to for you to maybe sell, but also to live?
Yeah, man, Arlington is home, so I see a lot of value here. I live in a small city called Dalworthing Gardens. Our population is like 2,000 people. It's a very hidden like gem, I would say, so people don't even know about it. I really, everyone was really crazy about Frisco, and they really sold the dream of Frisco, and I still like it. I go over there, but once you go live in Frisco, you're in that bubble. So like, you're kind of hard it's kind of hard to leave. So something that really attracts me is like the South Lake slash Colleyville area because I feel like, it's still like suburbs, but you still have like South Lake Town Square. I mean, I feel like more and more people, I know people moving from Frisco to South Lake. So that tells you what you need to know. And I just think that Frisco did a really good job of marketing itself, and it had a really, really good run from like 2019 to 2024. And I'm not saying it's done, but like I think the hype is a little bit less, like because at a point I heard that it was going to be called DFFW. You know what I mean? They were really pushing to get Frisco added to the Metroplex name. That would have been funny.
Yeah, that would've been really funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would've liked that.
Yeah.
That just never really ring to it anyway.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Arlington being a place that you really love, and it's funny because, you mentioned Frisco. They've done really great in their marketing to get people over there. Obviously, they have, Universal Studios going out there, they got the PGA, but what people don't really know about is Arlington, and I'll go back to Frisco, they think the Mavericks might move to Frisco, but Arlington is also in those discussions.
Yeah.
And Arlington, not a lot of people know, but they have the big events happening, like one-timers, like we had IndyCar racing, which is gonna come here, which is
Yep.
gonna be huge. First time
Yep.
coming to Arlington, and they're gonna have the FIFA World Cup next year,
Mhm.
which that's not gonna be in Bristol. It's gonna be in Arlington,
Yep.
right? They have a space for it. So, what do you think about that? Like, people don't know that there's all these cool events happening.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, the thing is like, once you live in DFW, that's why I kinda tell people don't get caught up in, like I spend a lot of time in Highland Park as well. So, like, I have a lot of friends there, we spend a lot of time in Highland Park Village, and, like, I was just touring with a client over there, and, he's coming from a nicer area, and he's like, "This is what I'm kinda trying to get away from," and, like, he's like, "I like this," but he's like, "Where's, like, the real people? Where are they at?" And I'm just like, man, that's a good thing about DFW. It's such a melting pot. So you can live in Arlington and you can go hang out in Highland Park Village. You can live in Arlington and go hang out in South Lake. Nothing stops you. And then the other thing is you can live in South Lake and go spend time in all these areas. So, people like are used to traveling in DFW. 30 to 40 minutes is normal for commute. So like the thing is like I really don't, that's why DFW is such a hotspot. It's not like where, I mean, traffic is getting bad, but it's not as bad as it is. But yeah, I mean, Arlington, like, you have the Viridian, which did really good. It's like a master plan community. You still have really nice houses by Lake Arlington. You have really nice houses in over here by Dalworthington Gardens. So, and even Pantego, like that's a city like not a lot of people know about, but there's some really nice houses here. So it just depends, like, what's important to you. I know a lot of people, especially kids, they want to see where their kid's going to go to school, where their kid's going to hang out, and what is it for the parents to do? What type of gyms are there? I mean, a city that we didn't even mention, Arlington's right next to Mansfield, and there is a big stuff happening in Mansfield. I know so many people that swear by Mansfield, and like that is home. They'll never live anywhere else. And just to segue that, there's areas in Fort Worth that are so amazing, and like, people just don't really know about it. Fort Worth, people just think like, you talk to a Dallas person about Fort Worth and they're like, "Oh, Fort Worth, I would never live there." But I mean, man, like Fort Worth is amazing. There's so much history there, the stockyards, all this stuff happening, even on 7th Street. Like, I do see a lot of the commercial and like the nightlife on 7th Street leaving. So that's really interesting to me. But the same thing is happening in Dallas. So there's just so many moving pieces. I think DFW there's so much to do. And I mean, I'm a real estate agent. I've been all the way out to Anna, Melissa, and I still see so much new stuff happening. And it's just like nothing surprises me anymore because I've already gone out to like areas like Princeton and Josephine, and, like, I'm like, "Man, like, where do these cities just keep coming from?"
Yeah, I find new cities all the time that you like once a month or so, and I'm like, I never knew this town existed or the
Yeah.
city within the city existed. It's crazy. DMW is so huge. There's so many areas around here. So, I know you mentioned, of course, you're from Arlington, is where you're from, but you sell everywhere.
Yeah.
So, well, do you think an agent or anyone in general needs to set themselves as an expert in a market where that's specific to them?
Yeah, I definitely do think you need to know, like, the area. So, like, Tarrant County and, like, Denton County slash Collin County, like, I look at it like a good agent, like, some agents, they can only sell, like, neighborhoods and stuff like that, and that works for them. There's other agents that, like, for me, I have friends all over, and they're saying, like, "Hey, I know you don't live here, but I want you to come over here and help me. I only trust you." So it just depends. That's where you have to see, like, okay, hey, do I have the connections? And so for what I do is I leverage agents in different areas, and I tap in with them. Hey, what's going on in your market? What's going on in your market? Like right now, there's areas out in Prosper that are just absolutely tanking in pricing, and it's just interesting to see. So there's a little bit of everything happening everywhere, so I think that's why keeping communicating with like listing agents, buyers agents, and having friends in the industry versus like once you have friends in the industry and like the people at the top are truly collaborating, so it helps you kind of get further because I mean Brad Crouch, one of the top agents in South Lake, he calls me and he's like, "Hey, I have a fixer up in Arlington. Do you have an investor that wants it? Hey, I have a fixer upper in Plano. Do you have an investor that wants it?" And I'm just like, yes, yes, yes to every opportunity because that's what happens. And then when I have someone looking in this area, like, Brad, what off market land do you have in South Lake right now? He sends me 3 pieces of land and I'm sending those to my guys. So that's like, you know, yes, it's important to localize and focus, but if you're creative, you can find ways around it if you're open to collaborating with other agents. If you're not open to collaborating with other agents and even builders and other even people that are wholesaling and making deals happen, because there's some people in the DFW market that aren't even licensed and they're making so many moves happen in real estate. It's really interesting. So I think I really kind of shifted my mindset like the 2 3 years ago. I was kind of always in my own bubble, just focused on myself, focused on my agents. Now, not saying I didn't collaborate before, but now I'm more like, oh, okay, I see how I can put deals together. Like right now, we just have we have a piece of land under contract with one of my good friends. I look at him like as an older brother, Andy. He has a piece of land in right next to on Lemon in really close to Highland Park, and he's representing the sellers. I picked up the phone and called him, and I was like, "Hey, I think I can bring you some builders," and we were able to get it under contract, and it's awesome. Like so, it's pretty cool to see what can happen.
Yeah, and I think whenever when you're creative, you have all these areas. And do you feel like with you collaborating and going out a little bit more, do you feel like that has helped your brand grow substantially more than whether just instead of just staying in a single area?
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is like people naturally it's all about branding. So like I always tell my agents like, "Hey, look at companies like Nike, Coke, Pepsi. They're all spending so much money on advertising. Why? Because they're building a brand." I named those 3 companies. You know exactly what they do, but you're still like seeing their consistent ad spend. So us as agents, we sell a couple of houses and we're like, "Ah, we're good. I don't need to market myself. Everyone knows me." I think the agents have a big ego, which it could either help their career or break their career. So it's important to be confident, but sometimes agents get overconfident and they stop branding and they stop marketing themselves. And it's like you stop doing the things that got you successful. So like that's key as well.
Okay. So, of course, you're building your brand. So you're building your brand, you're building your team, you're building everything pretty much in this area and other cities. It's like you mentioned, you're collaborating. What is going? Okay, 'cause you're already. I feel like to me, you're already at a really high level. But what is next? Is there anything next? Is there a goal that maybe you want to accomplish? Whether it's I know the end of the year is almost here, but next year or 5 years from now, what is your ultimate goal? What are you trying to be?
Yeah, so, we have an established brokerage brand. We're very blessed with it. We're doing build to rent. We're building duplexes in Arlington. So, our first product is already up and ready. So we're gonna continue building that. We have land for about, you know, like 18 other projects. So we have, a lot of single family homes. So if anyone ever has deals that they need to sell, I have buyers for it, whether that's land, whether that's rental properties. So we'll always continue to do that. But fun fact, my little brother Hershey, he's actually at UTA right now getting his civil engineering degree. So, it's part to the next process. So where you'll see us next is we will be once he has his civil engineering degree and he goes and gets everything like that, our plan is to go on to full on development. So you will just see us doing our own projects. Like maybe we'll be selling some, but right now, like what we like to do is we do like to hold our real estate, whether that's commercial property, whether it's rental duplexes, single family homes. Like so we're going to continue to scale. We're going to continue to scale the brokerage as well. We are touching more commercial deals as well. We did have a record volume deal. We sold a $8 million deal. Buyer and seller were both represented by our brokerage. So it's cool. Like I mean, at the end of the day, we're not scared of anything. So like we're looking for opportunities. I think you will see us getting into custom home builds. We're already kind of doing that with some of our clients, but slow and steady. We're not trying to put everything out there.
Right. No, of course. Yeah, taking it slow and you're doing great, doing a good job with everything. I guess what I would say is what is something I guess you would tell someone that maybe wants to be a brokerage owner like yourself or just to get into real estate and go full time? What is some encouragement or motivation you would say that can really help that person to get to a higher level where they want to be so much?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to like I think you have to enjoy it first of all. And I mean, like the thing is like my agents, I'm so blessed and so thankful. They get recruited all the time from different brokerages. I think we have like a 98% retention rate. We aren't going through agents like left and right. Some of these larger brokerages, they hit 500 agents and then they drop to 300. Some of these larger brokerages, they hit 1,000 agents and then they drop to like 700. So I'm seeing a lot of turnover with a lot of brokerages. So for me, my goal is that's why I'm not trying to scale. That's why you're not seeing me put up where hiring ads where because at the end of the day it's not sustainable. Like the thing is everyone wants to grow. They think the problem to solve the problem is add more agents instead of pouring into the ones that are there. So I'd rather continue to keep investing and have relationships with the agents that are already here. And that's the same thing goes for clients. Everyone's like, I want more clients, I want more clients. Instead of focusing on the ones that have already chosen to work with you and I've already worked with you, their solution is let me go find new ones. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, like I just want to work with people that don't like if the people that know you aren't working with you, strangers are not going to work with you. So it takes a lot of time to build a reputation, to build a brand, and build credibility. And people who have already done business with you, those are the people you need to focus on. And so that's why think the same way with clients and brokerage. I focus on the people that are already choosing to do business with me, and that's what works for me. Yeah.
So I guess we'll say for someone that's maybe new into real estate, they really want to get to it. They're in that part time position. They're not really full time yet. They're not doing as much. They're not doing any volume. What are three things you would say are big and impactful to help them grow and succeed? What are the three things?
So number one, vendor partnerships. Who's your social media guy? Who's your lender? Who's your insurance person? Who are you sitting down and actively choosing to do business with and send business with? Because when I was getting started, it was me and my lender versus the world. So like that's step one. You know, actively you can look like you're really busy in real estate, but that's not gonna change anything. The only work that gets done is when you choose to go out and connect with people and do stuff, right? The second thing I would say is they need to they need their family and friends to be their biggest supporter. So if your family and friends are not buying yet, their family and friends are. So you need to connect with them. Ask them to be your pipeline for business. So that's the second thing that they should do. And then the third thing they should do is they should really post on social media at least minimum 3 to 4 times a week. Stories need to be posted every single day. They need to be posting 2 to 3 stories a day. I don't care whether they're posting what they're eating for lunch, whether they're at the gym, just showing what a day in day is like, whether it's them, they need to show up on camera, they need to do that. That would be number 3. And I will throw in a number 4 bonus tip is get involved in the community. So, like, where you live is where you're gonna build your business. Like, that's why, like, for me, my office is in Arlington. I could have rented an office anywhere. I could have bought an office anywhere, but I chose to put a central spot in Arlington. Like, everyone knows where this is. When I say, "Oh yeah, I'm at the office across the old DMV," or "I'm at the office next to Veterans Park," everyone knows it. The old DMV was literally across the street. So everyone that lives in Arlington, they know that's where the DMV was before it moved to the new location in Fort Worth. But that's those are my 4 things. If you just give back to your community, if you really, the thing is a lot of people, they choose to get into real estate because there's so much money and it's so flashy and it's so nice. You really have to enjoy what you do. If you don't like people, this is not the business for you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that those are awesome. I think those are all great tips, especially the bonus tip, so
Yeah,
he's giving that value. I think, people know more about you now. They know who you are, they know
yeah,
about your theme, and they know about your brokerage here. And I think it's super awesome. And I'm sure they're gonna be working with you soon.
yeah.
I we don't have any other questions. That's gonna be it for us. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank my family, my friends, my agents, and all my clients that who have ever believed in me. It's all very, like, full circle. Whenever I, go to every inspection, whenever I, like, go to a closing, there's so many people that they could work with, and I'm really just thankful. I'm at that point in my life where, you know every opportunity is a blessing. Not tomorrow isn't promised. So I'm very thankful. And I'm thankful for you for having a vision, for working with my team. And I just see how passionate you are about, branding, social media, helping other agents. So, I want to thank you as well for, going out of your way, because you could continue to just do what you do, but you're taking the extra step. You're helping other agents. You're giving agents a platform. And, people who don't even know me will now know me through you. So, I really wanted to say thank you for that as well. So appreciate everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're very welcome. And thank you to the ones who believed in Nav and here right now doing big things.
Thanks,
So,
brother. Appreciate it.
great.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.